Grab a warm drink, find a comfy spot, and settle in. Today, we're embarking on a journey to uncover the stories, the laughter, the struggles, and the triumphs that make up one's family. I'm your host, Ben, and I'll take you up one's family tree and all history of one's family. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Up One's Family Tree and all history of one's family. I'm your host, Ben. And today we will have Cousin Maigan. How you doing, Cousin Maigan?
Hey, Ben, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. You are the second person I've talked to for this project. I talked to Jelaine last week, and she was amazing. And I think I was nervous, and I don't know why I was nervous about it, but I think we're good. We're going to be good today. I'm confident that this will not be a train wreck. Let me start with, what did you think about this idea when I first came to you with it?
I thought I was really excited. I kind of had the same sentiments as you did about, having something that my kids could reference, looking down a family tree or where we come from, stories that they might not have heard or, about people they might not have met. And I just thought it was really interesting. And it was a way to bring our family together as well as pass down memories.
Yeah, I like it because there's a lot of small history. Me and Rhiannon would come up and visit for the summers, and I don't have the dates. And I said I'd get the dates, but I don't have the dates. But we would come up, and it was interesting because there's this whole other family, and it was big, and they're not shy. And instantly we fell in love with them. But I apologize to Jelaine, and I apologize to everybody. Moving forward, is it's a shame that it took me now in this podcast to start reaching out to everybody. So I wanted to, and that's kind of why I like this project, is because I would like to get to know more of you guys and what you guys have been up to. I haven't talked to you in fucking 15 years?
Yeah. A little less than that. I think the last time I saw you was at Auntie Jeannie's funeral.
Yeah. And even then, it's like we can't hang out. Like, we're not having fun and like shooting the shit and having a good time. So I appreciate you hanging out with me today. Let's talk about you. What are you currently up to? What are like? Who are you? Where you live? Not where you live, but like, what's life like for you right now?
Life is kind of busy. Um, Navigating having two teens in the house that's pretty fun. So that's all new to me. I'm a health coordinator with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Like it because I get to work at home. Also looking into going back to college for healthcare administration. And other than that, I love cats. I foster cats until I can adopt them out. And I have a bunch of cats as well. And it's pretty much my life right now.
You married?
Yes, I'm married. We're since 2005, but we've been together since 2003. So it's been a long, long time.
Holy shit! You guys are coming up on 20 years.
Yep.
It's so weird because I still see you as little Maigan, and I'm like, you're not old enough to be 20 years married.
That's what Abraham told me yesterday. It was my birthday, and that's what he's like. You're still just this little girl running around. I can't believe you're almost 40. And I'm like, yeah, don't work with that.
So you just had a birthday? Like, I'm a monster. I don't even know when your birthday was.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
I knew that. I totally knew that.
Yeah, you did.
That's so fun. What does your husband do for work?
He's in sales, but he works with I don't know if you're familiar with just government facilities like White Sands, Missile Range, just parts to different companies, government agencies, things like that. So that's what he does.
What does he think of this whole podcast idea?
He loves it. He every time we or the few times we get together as a family, he likes to hear the stories, especially the uncles. They crack him up, and he loves it. He just wants to hear more about it. Both my parents are passed away now, so any stories he can hear about them, he likes that as well.
Uh-huh. And your kids like the idea too?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. You had mentioned your brother. How many siblings do we have?
I have two brothers.
Two brothers.
Mhm.
And what are their names?
Joey or Joseph and Abraham.
Now, to be fair, I do know who they are, but just I don't want people been listening to this me like Ben doesn't remember who these people are. I just think interview-wise, it was a better question to ask. I don't want people. So, because every once in a while, I'm like, when I talk to Jelaine, I was like, hopefully people know that, like, I'm asking the questions, even though I know, but everybody listening.
Yeah, for them.
And oh, that's so funny. Are they both older?
Yes, way much older than me.
Have you told them about this?
Yes, I told Abraham about it.
I'm gonna get him soon. I plan on. I figure once a week. I think I can. I'm a crazy person. I have the one podcast, Chasing the Whimsy proper. Then I have the 2 live streams, and then I got this Whimsy with the Z hanging out with some teenagers, and then I got this family tree thing. So I'm like, when am I supposed to meet with everybody? But I think baby steps once a week. I'll get with 1 or 2 people, and I don't know when or how I'm going to release these things, but we'll get them out soon. But yes, I look forward to talking to Abraham. I haven't talked to him since we went to Vegas for a bowling tournament circa 07. Holy crap. Yeah. I went up there with Dad and Uncle Eddie and an ex-girlfriend, and I saw him up there. So that's super cool. All right. Let's talk about the rest of your family. You mentioned auntie and uncle are no longer with us. Do you know their names and when they were born?
Yes. So my dad, his name is Richard.
Okay.
And he was born in 1942, 41.
41 or 42?
Yeah, I don't know which one. One of those. I think it's 41.
Okay.
And then my mom's name was Georgina, or Gina for short. And she was born in 48,
40?
48.
Oh, 48.
Mm-hmm.
When I was talking to Jelaine, I did not know this, and that's why I'm glad that we're all hanging out. Did you know that they all lived in the Philippines until like the 60s?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I knew that.
Like, so Uncle Richard would have been in the Philippines for like 20, 22 years.
Yeah, he was about 20 when they came over. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's crazy. Did he ever talk about days in the Philippines?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I picked his brain. I was always so fascinated with it. And I even tried some silly things. I don't even know if some of them were true, because you know how your uncles are. They're kind of funny and goofy. Like he said, we would eat bugs. So I was like, what kind of bugs? Any bugs, the biggest ants. So I went into the yard one time and got the biggest ants and would smash them and try to eat them. And so I wanted to be like that. But yeah, he had a lot of stories about, parties over there and how they would have to kind of like kill the animal and gut it for them and their friends to cook. And that was their party. Very different from over here where, I could just order some Dominoes and call it a day.
Do you know where your mom grew up?
Yeah. My mom grew up, she was born in Mexico City, Mexico. And she came over at around the age of 9.
9. So was she like a U.S. citizen when she was 9, or?
No, she had, they came over here and they had to, apply for their papers and all that. So she had her resident card and visa, and she actually, we have like pictures and all that. She actually was very happy. She became a U.S. citizen in 2010. So she was working that for that all her life. So she finally did it. She's all happy.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah,
But wouldn't she have been a citizen when she got married?
I would think so. I don't know what happened with that. I mean, I know that especially after both of them passed, I had their marriage licenses and all that. So I'm not sure why it didn't, but
Or it was, but it was just that one thing that she could do for herself. Like she
yeah,
did it on her own type thing.
yeah, she was all happy about the test and passed. It was really
Oh,
cute.
good for her. Uh, do we know when your dad passed away?
Yes, I was 17. He passed away the year I got married, so 2005. Actually, June 17th.
Before or after your wedding?
Before I got married in September. So
Uh, and then your mom?
my mom passed away in 2016.
What was it like growing up back in the day? You guys grew up in El Paso? Or
Hmm.
you grew up in El Paso?
I did, yeah. It was amazing. I didn't know hardly any of my mom's side of the family. Hers were in southern states and in Mexico, and so my dad's family pretty much was the most of the family I knew, and I was over there all the time. We lived. I could walk to there if I wanted from where I lived, and there's always get-togethers. Even Sundays after church, there's always food and just all kinds of hanging around. Um, that's how life was. I would look forward to summers when you and Rhiannon would come down because most of the other cousins were so much older than me, but it was fun.
Yeah, because Jelaine is like old as hell. And then um but Abraham and Joseph were obviously older. Abraham, Fred's kids, they were all older. So yeah, we we saw them when Rhiannon and I were up there. We would see them, but we would never like hang out. Or like they'd never come over and just hang out and play whatever fucking toys we were playing with or break whatever statue there was. Um, but it was you, me, and Rhiannon. We were just the three of us just wreaking havoc all summer.
Yep. I loved it. You guys brought a balance because Rhiannon had that girly side, and I'm not too girly. So like, if I would get kind of like, I don't know what you're doing, it's too girly Barbies. You'd have like the GI Joes, and I'm like, what are you doing? And I love Ninja Turtles, so then there you and yeah, it was fun. It was fun having you guys around.
I remember it was weird because we never really like we stayed at Paul's a couple of times, but we were always very, I want to say sheltered, but we were always at grandma and grandpa's. Occasionally, Rhiannon would be able to stay the night at your place. What would you guys do on those nights?
uh, we would just have fun, stay up telling like scary stories until we couldn't fall asleep or sneaking my dogs in, especially when they had puppies. We got in trouble for that a few times. Um, but yeah, we would just stay up talking and, laughing, making fun of my brothers because we could hear them with their friends, that type of thing. It was fun though.
I enjoyed it. Trying to think. I don't want to get too far off, but I'm making a little note here. Um, what were some of your like? Do you have any like any fun stories or memories that stand out with me and Rhiannon up there?
I do have one, but I don't know. I'll tell it, and if you want to edit it out, you can.
Okay.
How's that? So I always heard like grandpa, he's military, always, he's strict, but you never seen, me or strict to me. So, but I remember this one time we were eating and it was like always meat, rice, and there was some kind of vegetable or something on the side. And you're stubborn, you did not want to eat that. So you were like, I'm going to eat the meat and I'll eat the rice. And that's like all I'm eating. And so grandma's trying to tell you eat it, and then all of a sudden grandpa, he's just like, no, you're gonna eat it, and you're just like, no, I'm not. Not yelling around, just like, no, I'm not. And he's like, you're gonna sit on that table until you move. Oh my gosh, you were there for hours. It was a couple hours, and you were just sitting there with this like pissed off look on your face, and I was just like holding my breath the whole time, like, is he gonna eat it? Is grandpa gonna? Oh my god, it was crazy. But after a couple hours, I think you figured out he was pretty serious because you just watching TV and you were just mad. So you ate it. You ate it and you just went straight to the room and you were pretty pissed off about it.
That's so funny. 'Cause I talked about it on the other podcast. I used to do the same thing with my mom, and I
Did
would
you
just wait her
really?
out. Like I was very stubborn with vegetables, and I would wait it out with my mom, and she'd just be like, "Fine, screw it, go to bed." And I'm like, but it would be hours. I would sit
Hmm.
there. I don't. I almost.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't remember that, but it does. It tracks. It's totally. That's definitely something that we did. I remember us all sitting, and we would always be laughing or whatever. And he always had that paddle on the wall, and he kept
Oh
always like
yeah.
occasionally like he'd always like threaten, like, "I'm gonna get you the paddle." I'm like, "No, you're not."
Yeah. Yeah. You never did.
But
At least on the internet.
we'd quiet down because we didn't know for sure he wanted,
Yeah.
but we definitely like to push those buttons. Oh, that's funny. Uh,
Also, when you guys came, we would do more stuff, like stuff, because I would just be there. But when you guys came, we actually like did activities. Like we went to the circus once, or we would drive to like White Sands. So that was
mhm.
cool
uh, the trip to the racetrack,
too. I grew up there in a bowling alley. That was where I grew up.
right?
So
I didn't do. I We went a couple of times to the bowling alley. I didn't pick up bowling until well after I was like 20. No, I did it in high school. I was like 18, 19 before I picked up bowling, which is weird because like the whole family bowls.
hmm
And it's so funny because they all talk crap to each other. And they're not they're not great. I mean, they can hold their own in like a league, but none of them are professional. Your brother
Abraham had the
maybe.
opportunity. Yeah, I was gonna say he's got 13 300s under his belt. So
Abraham definitely did something with it. I bowled with my dad and Eddie for a year, and that was funny because it was just we're all just talking so much trash, and none of us were bowling good.
that sounds about right.
Uh,
They had a convention here. I think Wendy, your dad, Uncle Eddie, they came out where I live, and we had a convention out here, and that was fun. You weren't there at that time, but yeah.
what did your dad do for work?
Oh, I guess a warehouseman. He worked like in the frozen warehouse department
Okay.
of food service in El Paso, where we grew up.
And what did your mom do?
She was a cashier for years at a grocery store.
We used to, okay, so I got naps in church. Do you remember we used to have to take naps?
Forest nuts. Yep. Hmm.
And then my mom, one year, we made my mom write a note that says they don't want to take naps anymore. And we offended them. We offended grandma with it. I feel bad now, which is ironic because now at 40, all I want to do is nap.
Nap. Right. Yeah. We used
Uh,
to like we'd just be there like messing around, and then if they would come, we would just kind of put the covers over
or
her face.
or wait for grandma to fall asleep, and then we'd run around and get into
Yeah.
whatever mischief.
Yeah.
Because she had like little statue figurines everywhere, and the big fish tank. And then
I guess we
uh, I don't know if anybody else. I think this might be a you, me, and Rhiannon type thing. I'll have to get with everybody else. Do you remember any of those statues that we broke? Do you remember which one that you broke and or which ones that we broke?
Um, oh, I know there was one we were running around playing, all three of us, but I don't know specifically which ones you or Rhiannon might have broke. I broke a bell. I don't know if you remember. She used to have a lot of bells.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of those bells. I wasn't supposed to. I went in the cabinet and broke it, and then I almost, me and Rhiannon almost killed Grandpa's exotic fish. She dared me to
Oh, you
pour
put
root
root
beer
beer
in
in
the
it.
fish tank. Yeah, you remember
Oh,
that? Yeah,
I do remember that. You guys got in mad trouble for that.
yeah, it was bad.
Oh, that's so funny.
You were like nowhere to be found when we were going on. You were just like in the background watching.
Uh, I think Rhiannon and I broke the ear and the leg off of the Doberman, and then
That's what it was.
and then they Grandma had two statues of a man and a woman carrying two buckets on a stick.
Buckets.
Yeah,
Hmm.
we broke the head off of one of those.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure that was us. There were so many of them.
there were everywhere. That and
Uh,
plants everywhere.
rumor has it Grandma made some or most of those. Do we know
For,
for sure?
I don't think so.
She just bought them. She just liked because I know the one room had a bunch of gnomes.
Yeah, she just collected stuff.
I like it. Uh, Grandma always loved the church. She loved singing. She loved the piano. She loved the church. I know when we were there, she would always do the flower arrangements. Like every week, she would do like 2 or 3 different arrangements, and she would take them, and we'd have to carry them inside. Let's do. Do you have any fun church stories that you remember from back in the day with us?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you recall, but there's a couple times that we would go to vacations or vacation summer school or
Yeah.
vacation Bible schools. Sorry, I was trying. That was fun. Like we would kind of just get to hang out there throughout the day and have different activities, but like lots of playing, and they have like all kinds of snacks. We kind of just run around outside, and in the church um, was like a lot less structured than the regular service, so it was pretty fun. Um, and then I remember the flowers. I don't know if you remember like going to that lady off the freeway where she would go pick those flowers.
Yeah.
So I missed that. That was nice. And yeah, just hearing her before church. I don't know if you can recall this either, but she'd get up super early, like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and start playing the piano
Yeah.
and just start singing these hymns. So those are some good memories I had.
I remember it was always fun, like because it was summer, so like the summer thing that they had, it was always like the boys versus the girls with the pennies and the change and who can and they had the scale. No idea what
Yeah.
it was for. Yeah, it was fun. Are you still active in the church, or were you
Oh,
ever active?
yeah, I was actually really active. So I stayed in the Salvation Army and became, I guess it's called a senior soldier, which is when you're older, you're becoming a teen. But then after that, like my parents have separated and I moved, and so didn't really get back into church. It's kind of questioning things in life until I was in my 20s, and then Abraham was starting to go to church, and I was like, what? And so I went to his church. I found out there was one here where I live, and then we started going, and I was there for about 13 years. Ran nursery. My husband was an usher. But then about 3 years ago, we left that church, and now I just go like passively. I'm not like active as far
Mhm.
as all of that, but we just attend now. But yeah, I still like to go when I go to, when I go back home. I'll try to pop in for a service.
I don't know. Okay, so we used to have these potlucks on Sundays every once in a while, and we would run off and played on the stupid jungle gym. I don't remember if it was me or Rhiannon now. Like I was thinking about it, but one of us jacked up, like we slid down the slide and jacked up our eye. Is that me or Rhiannon?
I remember it being you.
because like I can't, 'cause
Yeah.
like I don't know if I have a scar or not. Okay, it was me. Okay,
Yeah,
'Cause
I'm pretty
it
sure
would
it was you.
make sense because I was a little bit more rambunctious. Okay,
Yeah. You were.
just like she's grandma just wants to like take the kids, get some food, hang out, and now Ben's just breaking stuff and jacking up his face. What are some of your favorite memories of your mom and dad?
Oh, there's a bit. You mean like together or separate?
Either or.
Okay. Um, there's a picture that I recently found, and it warms my heart. It's my mom and my dad at grandma and grandpa's house, and my mom's like helping serving stuff, but then like my dad's grabbing her, and they're like telling her to dance, kind of like she's like twirling the coffee cup in her hand. So that's a really great memory. Um, and then so my dad just constantly, whenever we would go anywhere, we'd just stop by grandma's, just go in there with him, and um, having both of them come pick me up because they saved on daycare because grandma and grandpa get me after school. So
Right.
those are good memories for me. Sometimes I
Did
didn't want to leave
right.
grandma's.
Did you have a different relationship than like maybe ones that you had with your brother because you were the only girl? Like were you daddy's girl like forever?
Yeah, yeah, I was. I mean, my dad still he was still pretty quirky, did some crazy, borderline inappropriately, you go do what you want. And I'm like, I'm a girl, right? Not a boy. And he's like, oh yeah, well then be more careful kind of thing. But but yeah, it was like the boys they're like, I'm going to a sleepover, I'm going to quinceañera, I'm going, put to a baseball or football game, and then my parents were like, fine. And with me, it was always like, you can't go, no, kind of thing. So
Right.
it was different.
How was your relationship with your mom?
Mine, oh, really good. Um, I had a really rebellious streak, though. I should say that in my teenage years, and up until my like early 20s. But we butted heads. But I was always in close contact with her. And then when I got married and pregnant with my son, she ended up moving out with me and my husband, and she was with me until I had my daughter a couple of years later, and that's when she got sick. And she had like her own place near us, but I didn't want to put her in a home. She's
Mhm.
always like, just put me, and I'm like, no. So I moved her in with us, and pretty much became her caregiver. Um, so yeah, I like to think it was really, really, we were really close, especially at the end.
Uh, for whatever reason, I like to talk about food. Did your dad cook, or was your mom more of
Okay.
the cook?
Well, my mom cooked mainly, mostly because my dad was lazy, but my dad could cook. So especially when they divorced, yeah, there was I loved it. I grew up like my mom would make flautas, which are like rolled tacos, and I'd be dipping it in like vinegar and soy sauce. It was just like fusion things that it's just cool. They both cooked. I learned a lot more probably from my mom, and the Filipino side I probably learned from watching grandma.
What are some of your memories of grandma and grandpa?
I have a lot. I really like love that they would like mommy, daddy, and they were just so cute. And I don't know, they just seemed like this little hearty couple. Um, I love that they were always just willing to like get up and go. They were like, let's go drive somewhere, let's go get lost. Um, I love that they were always so like they wanted us around, like all the whole family. They always wanted us over, and I love the food too. I miss so many dishes that I'll never get to taste again because of the way they made them.
Right. It was funny. I don't. Again, I don't remember the dates, but there was for like 2 years, maybe three. It got to the point where it was like, Grandpa was like, "You're a boy. You can't hang out with the girls. You got to go to work." And then I would have to go to work with them every morning. Like it was get up at like 5, have some have some breakfast, and then I would just drive around with them all day.
Did you
Uh,
sleep at all? Did you get
huh?
to go back to sleep? Did you get to sleep in the van while he drove, or do you just like put you to work?
He enjoyed talking. Like I tried to, and he would just keep, chit chatting and talking, and sometimes I would, sometimes I wouldn't. But yeah, it was always fun, and um, and he would pay me. That was my favorite part. Was he was like, "You go to work, I'll pay you." I never even asked Rhiannon if she ever had made money or anything, because I'd come home and I'd have like 50, $100 because I was working with them all. Like I don't know, I was like, I don't know how much he paid me. Whatever it was, it felt like it was $1 million.
Yeah.
But those were always fun times. Um, and then he always had to take his shoes and socks off and bring him his
And put the
slippers.
money, put the
Yeah.
money on the yeah. You got paid more because you're a boy. We did if we went with him, but you
Oh
got
yeah.
paid more. Yeah, because we were supposed to help grandma at the house, and you were supposed to, go to work and yeah, help him. But I have a crazy story about working with him. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember how he would work outside, like in the middle of nowhere? There was like not a trailer, but a kind of a station set out where he would drive up into. Do you remember
Yes.
that?
Yes. And then there was the other. Okay, because you guys used to make fun of me, but you continue, and then I'll tell you why you guys used to make fun of me.
Okay. Well, anyway, there's this huge owl that would sit out there sometimes, and they like would scare me. And anyway, the bathrooms were out of our order. The porta potties were like messed up. You couldn't even go in there. So I went to go to the restroom, and you thought it'd be funny to go behind. I don't think you knew what I was doing. You just like put your head behind, and you started making this noise, and I fell back, and my ass was covered in cactus, and it was the most awful thing ever. I don't know if you remember that. You were Grandpa had you sitting up front with him, and Rhiannon's in the back
Yeah.
trying to pick the freaking spice. I was
Oh,
like, I hate you, Ben. I hate you.
oh, I do vaguely remember that. I was a punk, man.
You're
Uh,
fun though. You're
when he
fun.
was, yeah, because he was a foreman, so he would drive around to the different sites and put in orders and deliver some stuff every once in a while, and then he'd go back to his office slash trailer, and I'd have to get out and unlock the gate and then lock it back up again. But there was another trailer, and now that I think about it, I have no idea who they were, but there was another family that lived there, and there was a little girl named Medium, and I would hang out over there for every once in a while.
Oh, Medium. I remember her.
Yeah,
I only saw her a couple times. You went to work more often with Grandpa. I remember her.
I
That's crazy.
just now remembered her because you guys used to make fun of me because you came and lived with us down here in like '96,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Somewhere
then
around
so for but like when we were in Grandma and Grandpa's, you guys would make fun of me because you guys like, oh, Ben's got a girlfriend,
there.
and
Oh
I was like,
yeah, yeah. I remember.
and it was
Yeah.
yeah, she was nice and it was weird, but I don't know anything. I don't know anything for Spanish, so everybody spoke Spanish, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But why did they live there?
I don't know. That's weird. I
Because they did.
remember though. I remember they did.
Because he had like
Oh,
a little, like, we'll call it like an acre of land with one trailer on it, and then another trailer slightly off to the side where Medium was. I don't know.
that's
Like they were just
crazy.
put
I
in the
didn't
area.
remember. Yeah, and I didn't remember till you said her name, and I was like, I remember that little girl. Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe he owned that property they were about to clear. I don't know.
Or there was like more stuff there that, like, obviously I wasn't paying uh, enough of attention. Like maybe they were supplying, like, storing stuff there, and they needed someone to kind of monitor the yard, so to say. I have no idea.
That makes sense.
What do we know about? Again, I'm like all over the place, but What do you know about your dad growing up? Good kid, bad kid, rambunctious,
Bad kid.
bad
My
kid.
dad was. If you ask any of the uncles, they'll tell you my dad was the fighter, the troublemaker.
Ooh.
Yeah, he liked to fight. Um, for stories, they had an uncle in like the police over there that was in the Philippines, and he taught my dad how to fight. And my dad would like practice learning different things, and he would just cause headaches for grandma, from what I heard.
And then your mom?
Oh, she was a good kid, really good kid. She had a little bit of she had it rough, but she took care of her brothers and sisters. She was the oldest, and she didn't she did start smoking very young. And again, so did I, and so did my dad. So that that kind of ran in the family. But other than that, she was.
I'm going to ask probably everybody. Do you remember Grandpa? I have no idea what the rhyme or reason was. He'd always put in these like random VHSs, and we would watch some random movies every once in a while. Sometimes he's like, oh, I guess for the kids, they can watch some cartoons, and we watch Felix the Cat, and we watch a bunch of those, Betty Boop. And then there was this one random movie. It was a kung fu movie. I have no idea what the hell the name is. I can't look it up. I don't even know, but it was like they hired a bunch of criminals to go save somebody, and then there was like this pack of like criminals, and they would all like kung fu their way through. And then there was like a little guy and a big guy, and he would jump on his shoulders, and then like I don't even know
It's
how
a
to
Bruce
describe
Lee
this.
movie. I think you're very correct. I think it's a Bruce Lee movie.
I don't even know if it was Bruce Lee though.
Was it? Because there's a Bruce Lee movie like that. I don't know. I thought you were gonna say something else, another movie. I was like, oh my
Oh, what other movie?
I can't. I probably can't say what other movie found in the VHS collection. You and your sister. So kung fu, was it like a Steven Seagal type of thing, or was it like Asian kung fu?
Like it was hard Asian 70s. It was obviously dubbed, I'm pretty sure. Um like I remember one of the people was like a bigger guy, and like as they like traveled, they would so there's like seven of them, we'll call it seven. And as they're walking, they get to a guy who's like, you can't pass unless you beat me. And then one person would stay and fight, and then the rest of them would keep going. So they would always like kind of just like pair off as they kept going. But I remember the one fight that I remember was there's a bigger guy and a little guy, and the little guy kept jumping on the guy's shoulders, and that's how they would fight. And then it got to a point where he had to like rub a bunch of oil all over him so they couldn't keep a hold on him, and he would end up winning. But it was larger guy fighting larger guy with little guy on his shoulders, and I have no idea what the hell this.
You know what? I think I know. Give me a couple days, or at least a day, and I'll look it up and see if I can.
That'd be amazing because I keep looking for it, and they're like, you can based off of like the bad description I just gave. Those are all my Google searches, so I can't come up with anything. If you have any pictures, like any pictures that you have digitally that you want to send me of you, your brothers, you growing up, you have your mom and dad, please send them, because I'll put them on the website and kind of, I'm gonna try to get more, because I just recently started going through some old pictures and stuff with my mom, and my sister sent me some stuff. So yeah, if you want to share some of those, I'll put those up, and I'll get more from everybody else. I think it would be kind of interesting to see all those old timey photos.
Yeah. I just actually got some not too long ago, maybe about a year before Auntie Ori passed away. She was going through things and she found a bunch of, photos from our family because a lot of our stuff got lost. So
Mm.
I don't have too many photos, but there are some really good photos. So yeah, I'll send some stuff to you and see what you can use there.
Well, I think that's all I got for you right now. I just want to do some intros. I'll get with, I think, Jason or Freddie Jr. next, and I'll get with your brother soon too. And we'll just do some more intro stuff and get to kind of know everybody individually. And then we'll start deep diving on like a specific topic of, or of some kind, like high school or church. I really love I would love to get more Philippine stories because that seems amazing. Was your dad ever in the military?
No, he didn't. He wasn't in the military.
Okay. And then your dad was the second of the siblings.
Yes.
Okay. Eddie, Richard, Fred.
And then Uncle Paul and Uncle Isaac, and then Auntie Lily, and then Uncle Ben.
Yeah. So
Are your dad?
did they always live in that house? Like, was that their childhood house?
From what I understand, yeah, they've added to it. They've changed a lot, but that's pretty much the one they.
So when they moved in from the Philippines to El Paso, when they got a house, that's the one they settled on. So that
Yeah,
house,
I believe so.
wow, the house has been there for 60, 80 years.
Long
That's
time.
80 years of family in that house. That is amazing.
Have you been there? And when's the last time you were there?
I went up there for, I was semi up there, not recently. Uncle Eddie, I think I was up there for Uncle Eddie. Because we went to Jelane's place for the gathering, and then we went back to Grandma and Grandpa's house, which I think Paul has now.
Yeah.
And we played poker for hours, which is the dumbest thing in the world. I love playing poker with those guys. Like, we have no idea what we're doing. Um, did your dad have a gambling problem like the rest of us?
Yeah, I like to bet too, but at mine's, at least I tell him it's pretty well controlled. But yeah, he did. I was at the track all the time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy shit like
we all do it because it's funny.
yeah.
Because we're always when we were there, no one had chips of any kind, and nobody had their jars of coins because it was kind of like a spur of the moment type thing. But it was funny because all they knew they wanted to do was gamble, so we kind of makeshift like whatever chips we had. I organized it so we can represent the money and everything, and it's always funny because it's like 25 cents to betting, and then all of a sudden by the end of the night we're just ripping into like our bills, and
Yeah.
it just spirals into a mess.
Yeah. That's funny.
Right.
They used to play a game called Suk Suk, I think, too.
Yes, Joy said that. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, I don't know how to play it, but they played it, and there's money going around. So,
remember, like, yeah, because that's you're the second person to mention that. So I got to find somebody who knows how to play this Suk Suk game.
Yeah, let me know. I need to find out.
Do we know how to spell it? Would it be SOOK? Suk Suk?
That's what it sounds like.
All right, I'm gonna look it up. That's funny because you're the second person that knew the name of that game. All right.
I never knew. I never found out how to play either. So.
I'd play that shit.
You're like cards, gambling. I'm in.
Anything. Like, I'll gamble on anything at this point. Shoot. All right. Well, I appreciate you hanging out with me for today. I will get this edited and out to you so you can hear it. I'm working on a couple of things, so I want to try to get a couple more, and then I'll get it all polished and make it look all nice. and then I'll start, just posting them out for everybody, and then I'll reach out to the rest of the cousins. There's a lot of us.
There's a lot. Yeah.
So,
we're all
but
fun, different. So I think you're gonna have the most fun of us all talking about.
I don't know. You guys are gonna listen. I like those moments where I just randomly remember something that I haven't thought about in 30, 35 years. Like Medium, I'm like, oh, there was a cute little girl I used to play with, and this all the in the root beer, and the root beer,
Oh
the fish.
my goodness.
I'll get with. I'm pretty sure it was. I think it was Jason, but it could have been Abraham. We took the fish out of the tank and we kept trying to put it like on Rhiannon while she was sleeping, and we couldn't handle it. Like we just could not stop laughing, and we dropped that stupid fish a bunch of times. It lived. Well, yeah.
I did
So
not know that.
it's going to be fun to hear some stories with everybody, and then I'll try to get more towards not so much Ben centric, but like any stories that they can tell that you might remember, and then you can have your own little laugh. All right. Well, you have a good night. And again, thank you for hanging out.
You too. Thanks for having me, Ben. You take care.
Bye.
Everybody, hi, and I'll talk to you soon.
All righty. Bye.